Hi, Key Stage 4s. It's Miss McCrell here from the Wickham Grange, and I'm going to be giving you guys work for the next 2 weeks. So this week you're going to need your GCSE AQA English Language fiction book, and we're going to be going on pages 20 and 21. So we're only looking at the questions on page 21. We're not going to do anything else. And then we're going to do a creative writing question at the very end. So, our extract today is from a book called The Life of Pi. So the narrator Pi recounts how his family died after their ship, which also carries zoo animals, sank in a storm. Pi was left stranded on the lifeboat with a tiger. In this extract, Pi has been at sea for many months. Okay, for those of you who've been in my lessons, you know I do love a good film trailer, and I will play one if one exists. So what I suggest you do is, I can't record and watch at the same time, so if you hit play on the trailer, watch it. It's only about 2-3 minutes long, and then move on to the next slide when you're ready. Okay, there are a few tricky words in this extract. I've got 4 of them for you. I will talk about a couple others later. The 4 big ones. So you got the word botanical. So that's related to plants. So I've got a picture of a botanical garden there for you. So profusion means a large amount. If you see a picture of this pub there, it's in London. It's known for having a profusion of flowers and plants and flags on the outside of it. And chimera is an unrealistic hope. So I got a picture of a lion and a dragon, which is an unrealistic hope that those two will ever meet. And our last one is olfactory, and that's relating to your sense of smell. Okay, question 1. In paragraph 1, how does the writer engage the reader's intention? So here's the paragraph 1 of you. It's a nice short one. I made an exceptional botanical discovery, but there will be many who disbelieve the following episode. Still, I give it to you now because it's part of the story and it happened to me. So how can you work this into your answer? I mean, it's a bit interesting. We haven't read anything else. We don't know anything else about the extract, but we've got this to work with. So what's engaging at the very beginning? There'll be many who will disbelieve the following episode. So what he's saying is there's going to be many people who aren't going to believe what you're about to read. But he says, I'm giving it to you because it's part of the story and it happened to me. So it could suggest maybe his mind has played a trick on him. Maybe it's so strange what happened that you're not going to believe it. So we're only looking for about 2 to 3 sentences for this one. It's nice and short and sweet, just to get us started. Okay, question 2. So this one's a GCSE style question. For those of you that can be year 11, question 1 on your first paper is going to have a question looking just like this. Different text, obviously. So, read lines 8 to 19 and list 4 things about the island. So what I'm going to do is I'll read it for you. If you don't want to hear me reading, then you don't have to. So lines 8 to 19. The trees remain. In fact, they grew to be a forest. They are part of a low-lying island. I pushed myself up, continued to disbelieve my eyes. But it was a thrill to be deluded in such a high-quality way. The trees were beautiful. They were like none I had ever seen before. They had a pale bark and equally distributed branches that carried an amazing profusion of leaves. These leaves are brilliantly green, a green so bright and emerald that next to it, vegetation during the monsoons was a drab olive. I blinked deliberately, expecting my eyelids to act like lumberjacks, but the trees would not fall. I looked down, as both satisfied and disappointed with what I saw. The island had no soil. Not that the trees stood in water, rather they stood in what appeared to be a dense mass of vegetation, as sparkling green as the leaves. Who had ever heard of land with no soil, with trees growing out of a pure vegetation? I felt satisfaction because such a geology confirmed that I was right, that this island was a chimera, a play of the mind. By the same token, I felt disappointment because an island, any island, however strange, would have been very good to come upon. So, what we're looking for is 4 things about the island. So remember, your answers need to be from these lines only and need to be about the island, nothing else. A few pictures here for you to help. So emerald, that word comes up here. Emerald is a green type of a precious gem, very bright. And we've got a monsoon. Lots of tropical countries get monsoons, like Thailand. We don't, which is just a lot of water. We don't really get monsoons here. We get heavy rain, but there's sometimes will rain for days and days, and it's just ridiculous how much rain they get a few times a year. And you've got a picture of vegetation in a monsoon. So some trees and bushes in a monsoon. So usually they're very bright, and the water brings out the colours. But probably what he's saying is that they had this emerald colour as well that made, this vegetation in monsoon seem like a dull olive colour. So it's kind of saying that everything was just so bright and shiny and glimmery. So have a go at this question, and we're going to head on to question 3 next. Okay, so Pi comes across the island after spending a long time at sea, so he's probably losing a plot a little bit here. So question 3a. Read line 13. How does this simile show Pi's reaction to the island? So if you don't remember what a simile is, it's when you compare 2 things using the word like or as. It's like Forrest Gump's life is like a box of chocolates. You never know what you're going to get. So line 13 I've got right here for you. It's nice and short. I blinked deliberately, expecting my eyelids to act as lumberjacks, but the trees would not fall. So how does this simile show Pi's reaction to the island? So if you think about what's being compared here, so his eyelids have been compared to lumberjacks. So if you have a think, what do lumberjacks do? They chop down trees, they make them fall, don't they? So what is that telling us about his reaction to the island? Have a think about his eyes. What are they doing? What does he think that if he does with his eyes that it will disappear? Maybe if he blinks them that the trees will start to fall and go away and disappear. So this one, kind of the same as that first question that we did. We're only looking for 2 or 3 sentences. There's not much that we can really write for this. Just have a go with it. See if you remember those skills that you've had before. Okay, here's your last reading question. Question 3b. Read lines 6 to 19. I'm going to read that for you as well. In the near distance, I saw trees. I did not react. I was certain it was an illusion that a few blinks would make disappear. The trees remain. In fact, they grew to be a forest. They are part of a low-lying island. I pushed myself up. I continued to disbelieve my eyes, but with a thrill to be deluded in such a high-quality way. The trees were beautiful. They were like none I had ever seen before. They had a pale bark and equally distributed branches that carried an amazing profusion of leaves. These leaves were brilliantly green, a green so bright and emerald that, next to it, vegetation during the monsoons was a drab olive. I blinked deliberately, expecting my eyelids to act like lumberjacks, but the trees would not fall. I looked down, as both satisfied and disappointed with what I saw. The island had no soil. Not that the trees stood in water, rather, they stood in what appeared to be a dense mass of vegetation, as sparkling green as the leaves. Who had ever heard of land with no soil, with trees growing out of a pure vegetation? I felt satisfaction because such a geology confirmed that I was right, that this island was a chimera, a play of the mind. By the same token, I felt disappointment because an island, any island, however strange, would have been very good to come upon. So do you think Pi's descriptions of the island make it sound unusual? Give examples from the text to support your answer. So if you have a look at that green box there, what I suggest you do for this one, because it's a bit of a bigger answer that we're doing, start by underlining quotes in this section of the text that seem unusual to you first. Just have a look. What strikes you as unusual? Because it is very unusual. It's a good place to start. Once you've got your quotes, it becomes easier to answer this question. So then, what I want you to do is to think about why that seems unusual for an island. Think about what would you normally expect to see on an island, and why does that not kind of sound why is that not there? So if you can, if you're feeling brave or not brave, you try doing a PEE paragraph. So point, evidence, explain. Your point is right here, that the descriptions make the island sound unusual. So you've got that. And then evidence, you should have a few things underlined already that you can use. But it's the explanation part that's a bit more of a challenge. Explain it. Why does that make it sound unusual? How? How does it make it sound unusual? So we're looking for maybe a really good paragraph here. Four-ish sentences, 4 to 5 if you're feeling brave. And then once you've done that, we're going to move on to the writing question. Okay? Done with Life of Pi after this. On to writing, completely different. Okay, creative writing. Choose one of these 2 writing prompts and see if you can write a story with at least 100 words. So the 2 that we've got are: someone you know barges through your front door and says, "Whatever happens, whoever comes knocking, I've been here for at least an hour." So you could start the story with you sitting at home, watching TV, playing Xbox, PlayStation, and then you get a knock on the door, or they just come through the front door and it's your friend. You decide what happens next. Why are they there? Why are they needing an alibi for at least the last hour? Or, you could be the person knocking at the door. Up to you. Second option for creative writing: the lights go out for 5 seconds. When they turn on again, you see a note stuck to your window. It says one word: run. Where do you run? What happened? Who put the note there? What's happening? Could be very interesting. I've had students do these 2 different prompts before, and I've had some really, really good stories. I mean, you can make it as long as you want, but I really want you to try and have a go at writing at least 100 words. If you get stuck, maybe put a timer on for yourself. Say, start with 2 minutes. Can you write for 2 minutes? What can you come up with in 2 minutes? Is a really, really good idea. And once you're done with all this, all your work, you can do it in your workbook. You can type it. You can write it. You can type it into a message on Instagram and send it. If you can, send it to your English teacher. They'd love to see it. So you can email it to us at english@aspireap.org.uk. And also, I'd really like if you could follow the English department on Instagram. So it's at aspireap_English. And that's where you could also send us the work if you wanted to. Just type some, your story out and send it in, and they'll maybe try and, if you remember who your English teacher was, that'd be really good as well, so then they can send it to the right person. Or if you don't remember your English teacher's name, just say which site you worked on, whether you're at Blueprint, CSEC, or the Wickham Grange, and we'll get it to the right person for sure. Alright, so thanks guys.